Hey there, it's Crissy Keye Rollins here. And if you're new to this series, I've been sharing weekly insights around the creation process and guiding you step by step to understanding the mindset and energy that lies behind taking consistent action toward creating whatever you desire in life. In today's video, I'm going to share with you insights into what the root cause of disappointment really is, so that you'll be able to move consistently forward through your creative process and continue to take steps toward creating the change that you desire in a more empowered way that does not leave you susceptible to the letdowns and roadblocks that disappointment can bring. Plus, I'm going to walk you through the creative process of making your own homemade yarn eggs, very much like this one. These make wonderful reusable Easter eggs. And when you put them together in a basket or set them on a mantelpiece, they are great year-round home decorations. So be sure to stick around for that after this quick chat, and let's get started. Becoming aware of the insights that I'm sharing throughout this video series will help you to overcome challenges and limitations that have been holding you back so that you can ditch the excuses and show up in life with confidence and clarity. If you want early access to these videos, you can join the community I'm building over on Patreon, and you can find out more at bit.ly holistic support. Right now is a great time to join this community because when you do, you will receive a free one-on-one total clarity breakthrough session with me, giving you the chance to become crystal clear on what your best next step is toward creating what it is that you most desire. For today, we're talking about disappointment, and really specifically, what's at the root cause of disappointment. Now, I know you're sitting there thinking, well, I already know what causes disappointment. It's when life doesn't work out my way. But I'm going to show you specifically what it is that is happening so that you can understand why you keep getting led down that path of disappointment. And then you can begin to be proactive in the way that you approach the creative process or whatever endeavor you are taking on, and begin to understand why it is that you're feeling disappointed in the end. So I've identified there are two main things that lead to disappointment. I call these the root cause of disappointment. In any disappointment that you've ever had in your life, I assure you, these two things, at least one of them, but probably both of them, were in play at the time that you found yourself disappointed. Those two things are expectations and attachments. The interesting thing about expectations and attachment is that they're kind of similar to one another. They're both tangled up in the how of the grand unfolding. Now, the interesting thing about the how is that it is none of your business. When you learn how to reel your energy in from being so attached and sitting with expectation on how things are going to unfold, you will find that you are less disappointed, you are less let down, you are less discouraged, and it's more easy for you to just keep rolling with whatever happens in life. We do not get to control how things come about. We don't get to control what happens next in our world. The only thing that we can control is how we feel about what's happening, what we think about what's happening. And when you start to identify what expectations you have in place, what attachments you have to specific outcomes, you can begin to loosen up your grip on the attachments. You begin to ease back on your level of expectations, and you can shift yourself over from being connected to what specific outcome comes and start to tap into what experience that outcome is bringing to you or leading you towards. And most importantly, it gives you a place that you can focus on how you are experiencing yourself when however unfolds in whatever way that it's going to. When you have expectations of things coming from a certain route, then you begin to judge what is happening around you. When things don't look like they're going in the direction that you want, you can jump ship and bail. You can begin to backtrack or go in a different direction before going further enough down the path to find that it actually was going to bring you exactly what you wanted in the end. Here's a great little exercise that helps to bring this point home. Think about anything that you've acquired in your life. I mean, think about anything at all. Did it come about exactly like how you thought that it would. I know that when I had a desire to go to massage school, I knew that I was going to go to massage school. I had no idea what massage school, when I was going to get started, how I was going to pay for it, how it was all going to work into my life. I just knew that I wanted to go to massage school. I started talking about it, thinking about it, researching about it. And the interesting thing is that the how of how it unfolded came out totally different than what I initially thought. Yes, there were some common things in place. I had to find a school, I had to apply, I had to enroll. But even if everything comes about in that kind of manner, the actual details of what happens along the way are never anything that you could ever predict. When you think back a few videos ago, probably at the start of this series, when we started talking about the mind and how it's a future predicting machine, I actually called it a negative prophesizing machine because that's what my mindset mentors had called it initially. And I have to agree, it looks at the future and then projects worst case scenarios so that we can learn how to prepare and protect ourselves in order to handle it. But when you realize your mind is setting forth expectations about things that it knows nothing about, especially if you're trying to create something new or have a new experience in your life. If you've never had a business, ran a business, started a business, then you really don't know what to expect. So why not go into it with a loose grip and just expect that whatever happens is leading you to whatever you need to experience so that you can truly have what it is that you desire. Your attachments to things looking in a certain way will get you changing directions so quickly. It's like if you're waiting for a package to show up and you hear the doorbell and you're expecting FedEx, but it's really UPS that's there. And then you just shut the door in their face because you're like, I don't have time for you. I need FedEx, right? When you get so attached to specific outcomes, when you have expectations of it looking a certain way, you begin to build up imaginative stories about what the future looks like. And unless you can predict the future, then you really don't know what's going to happen next. So why not challenge yourself to set aside expectations and attachments? Begin to take inventory over what expectations and attachments you have to what it is that's going to happen. I can also think of a number of things that I really was attached to happening in my life, and I thought that they needed to happen in order for me to be able to survive or have a fulfilling life. And in the end, they just didn't happen. And if I had kept holding on to it and being attached and trying to force and make it happen, I could have and would have missed out on some really great unexpected surprises that came along the way, some better places that I ended up. See, I thought I wanted to go to massage school, but really my intuition was guiding me on the first step of a path that was leading me into this whole world of exploration that has taught me who I am, has helped me to clarify what my purpose is, and what I do and give to the world obviously goes far beyond the massage that I'm able to perform for people. So your homework for this week, or an action item, your invitation that I extend to you, is to begin to take inventory of your expectations and your attachments. Begin to think back about things that have unfolded in your life and think about the things that didn't unfold in your life. Think about the expectations and attachments that you had on each of those situations, and think about all the different ways that you got what you wanted in the end, but it came about in a way that you could have never predicted. I definitely want to know if this is hitting home for you. So drop some comments below and let me know. Have you already seen how expectations and attachments have held you back? Can you see now in retrospect how you closed doors because things didn't look like how you expected? Can you see how you forced things because of your attachments to specific outcomes? And also notice, how did you experience yourself as you went through these experiences? When your expectations and your attachments were dragging you down, what did it feel like inside of yourself? Can you see how in certain situations when it all ended up working out in the end that you could have had a much happier journey along the way? So what if it's not about having things line up just so, or the way that you expect them, or the way that you're attached to them being? And what if it's more about surrendering and taking a step back and relaxing into the process and seeing how life is unfolding to lead you to exactly what it is that you desire? Now, if you desire more yarn eggs in your life, then definitely stick around because I'm getting ready to switch gears and take you through this tutorial. I think this is a perfect tutorial to go along with expectations and attachments, because anytime that you do an artistic endeavor, or I will speak for myself, anytime that I take on an artistic endeavor, I always have some expectations of what the end result's going to be like. And I will tell you that the journey to get to it very rarely looks like how I anticipated, and the attachments that I have on that final outcome need to be loose every time, because in the end, I always make what I set out to make, but in the end, it typically looks totally different, especially the process getting to it, but it will totally look different in the end. And if I just quit every time that life wasn't meeting my expectations, I wouldn't be doing a fraction of what it is that I am doing in my life currently. And instead, I get to wake up every day excited to go into the day, because I know that whatever it is that lies before me is something that I'm going to enjoy, because I've learned how to let my passions lead the way. And I am passionate about showing you how you can do the same thing. If you're finding value in what I'm sharing in this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Your support of this channel is greatly appreciated. And be sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications wherever you are watching this, so that you can stay in touch with whenever a new video comes around. And if you do want to know how to make these cute little yarn eggs, you can make them in whatever colors you want. You can make them for Easter. You can make them to match the color scheme in your house and use them year round. It's really up to you. But if you want to see this, I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, so to make these yarn eggs, you are going to need a few supplies. So let me go over what that is real quick. One, you are going to need 9 yards of yarn. Now, just like in my past videos that involved yarn, I prefer to use cotton yarn. I find that it has a cleaner finished product that I'm happier with, but I have done these same projects using acrylic yarn. It works as well. So feel free to use that if that's all that you have on hand, or if you have a blend, that's totally fine as well. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be using this cotton yarn, 100% cotton yarn, and you're going to need 9 yards of it. I already measured this out. And for those of y'all that struggle with math, that would be 27 feet of yarn. So you can pre-cut that and have it ready to go. If you want to make several of these, then just do that length in different colors, or however it is that you want to do it. Also, you're going to need some watered down glue, just like we've used in past tutorials. It's not an even 50-50. It's more like a third water, 2/3 glue. Play around with it. You'll find a consistency that's nice for you. You're also going to need a water balloon, or for however many eggs you're going to make, you're going to need a balloon for each. I like the water balloon size. You can use a full-size balloon. The main thing is that when you blow it, make sure that you don't overinflate it and that you stop when it makes this nice round shape. Otherwise, it becomes like more pear-like, which you can do really cool stuff with too. But if you're trying to aim for an egg, then a water balloon partially blown up is going to be the best route to go. I also like to use some parchment paper to protect my work surface, as well as give my egg a place to dry once it's all covered in glue. And because you need to measure out and cut the yarn and in the end be able to remove the balloon, then you'll also need a pair of scissors and a ruler so that you can measure all that out. You can also find these eggs available in our Holistic Restoration Etsy shop, which you can go to at bit.ly/shop-holistic. You can buy your own eggs. You don't even have to make them. So if you like these, then go check that out. I'd be happy to make some and ship them to you. Another thing that you can add to the supply list if you like to have a little extra bling is that you can add glitter. You can add glitter straight to your glue mixture, and then you'll have a glittery egg as well. I've done some with glitter. I think they're really lovely, and I've also done some plain ones. Can't go wrong either way. Okay, so just like we did with the heart ornament tutorial, and go check that out after this video if you haven't seen that yet, we are going to start by, well, first we're going to start by measuring out our yarn, which we already did, and blowing up our balloon, which we already did. Then we're going to take the next step and dip the yarn into the glue mixture, wiping off the excess and getting the yarn ready to simply wrap around that balloon. I'm going to let you watch those steps as I do that. Then I'll show you what comes next. Now, I do like to find the end and kind of make sure that as I'm putting it into the glue, I don't have any knots in my string if I pre-cut it like this. So I encourage you to follow that same technique. Now, once your yarn is in your glue mixture, hold on to the end so you don't lose it, and then gently tap down the yarn to make sure that it gets totally covered with the glue. Once it's good and covered, then you can take your end, dip that into the glue, and then begin wiping off the excess. I like to pre-wipe mine off and then just go ahead and set the yarn to the side so that it is ready to go. And again, make sure that you kind of keep it in a neat little pile so that you don't end up with a knot in your yarn. And once it is all the way out, you can just set your glue mixture to the side and pick up your balloon. Now, I like to start at the end, but you can start wherever you want. And all that you're going to do is hold one end in place and then wrap the string around. You want to make sure you don't wrap it too tight that your balloon starts to dip in, because then you're going to have an awkward shaped egg. And really, there is no right or wrong way for wrapping this around. You just wrap it in every direction, trying to fill up all the empty spaces, trying not to go back over the same line that you just did, and just wrap it in every direction, and then just work around the top of the balloon where you have the knot. It will all work out in the end. And as I work, I just twist it around and I just look for empty spots like this and I bring the line across. When you get to the end, just find a spot where you can kind of tuck the little string end in and make sure that it is good and tampered down so that as the glue dries, you don't have to worry about that end popping up. And then you just set your egg to the side to dry. You might also want a couple paper towels so that you can wipe your fingers off after this step. Okay, so once your yarn is completely wrapped around your egg, all that you need to do is set it in a safe space that it can sit and dry. I usually give 2 full days for this to dry completely. After about a day, I'll roll it over to another side and make sure that the bottom side gets exposed to the air so it can all dry evenly. And in the end, once it is dry, it will look just like this. You will notice a change in the color of the yarn itself versus when it was wet, and it will feel very stiff. Now, all that you need to do is remove the balloon from the inside and the egg will keep its shape just like this one. Now, of course, you could just take a needle and pop it. I don't really like loud noises, so I usually just pull up on the end and I snip it ever so gently with a pair of scissors and let the air out slowly. Then it will pop off the sides. That's what that sound is. And if you want to help it along, you can just poke it with the ends of your scissors anywhere that it's still stuck. And then pull it out through a hole. Now you can also leave a little space and make a little bit bigger holes and then slip some treats inside, or if you wanted to put some marbles or seashells or something else decorative on the inside, you absolutely could do that. And if you wanted to use less yarn to have bigger spaces, you could do that too. If you wanted to use more yarn and completely wrap the balloon so that you don't have any see-through spaces, you can do that as well. This is your project now, so make it however you want. Pay attention to your expectations and attachments along the way, and let me know how this tutorial turns out for you. If you have additional insights to share around attachments and expectations leading to disappointment, or around making decorative yarn eggs, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below so that we can all learn from you as well. And if you make one of these cute little eggs, I totally want to see that and know about it, so be sure to share that with me as well. And the next time that you find yourself feeling disappointed, check in with yourself and see what expectations and attachments you had and where you may be able to loosen your grip and relax into how life is leading you, simply in a different set of experiences toward what it is that you desire. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this video with others. If you found value in what I had to share, then do give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe wherever you are viewing this, turn on notifications so that you know every time a new video drops. Your help in supporting this channel really means a lot to me. And if you haven't done so already, then I do invite you to check out the community that I'm building over on Patreon. Of course, here's the link for you, and I'll drop it in the description below for you as well. Throughout the year, we're going to be focused on how to discover and live more fully into your purpose, how to create a life that's aligned with your purpose, and how to do it all in a way that's a service to others. So if you're interested in plugging into that conversation and support, hop over to bit.ly Holistic Support for more details. Remember that that free Total Clarity Breakthrough session is waiting for you whenever you join or up-level your membership. So go check that out. And either way, I look forward to seeing you again next week with another creation process video and tutorial walking you through the creative process. Bye.